Good afternoon, parents, and a warm welcome to our final secondary school parent webinar for this academic term, term one. As always, I hope you're safe and well and that your families are safe and well wherever you are in the world, and would like to make sure that everybody is aware again that these sessions are recorded and published to our social media channels so that you can watch them again or for a first time if you're not able to watch them live with us today. So this one is with regards to pathways into higher education, and it will be a recap of the curriculum session to a certain extent, but also with the added information regarding how we prepare our students for their next steps as they move into the world of higher education after year 12 or 13, and some of the things they may need to consider with regards to that. So if we could have the next slide, please. As always, just another reminder, like we do on a weekly basis, about the school vision to grow, to flourish and to succeed. Obviously, linking it to today's session, that success would be gaining access to a university that your child wants to go to and that your child dreams of going to, whether that be in this country or perhaps your home country or another country. So that would be the definition, I guess, of success in terms of contextualizing it for this particular webinar. Next slide, please. Again, really important to look at these really important pillars and important words and values that we have to have, particularly at one at the bottom here about character and the resilience and the drive and the determination to get to university, to make it to higher education and beyond. And again, thinking about the world that we currently live in and the challenges of the pandemic, this has been a really big roller coaster of a journey for many students who have transitioned into higher education over the past 2.5 years. So please just remember the importance of that word character as we discuss the pathways into higher education. Next slide, please. So just a reminder about the process at GEMS Founders School, and this applies to many schools around Dubai and the United Arab Emirates and around the world for that matter, but it's not always the same journey, and obviously different curricula can raise different questions and different thought processes and provide different experiences that all lend themselves into your decision and your child's decision as to which university they will apply to. But at GEMS Founders, as you know, in years 7, 8 and 9, we teach the national curriculum for England, which then leads into making the first set of choices with regards to academics. And that comes at the end of year 9. Well, the process starts at the middle of year 9 actually, but ends at the end of year 9 when students transition to start their IGCSE qualifications in years 10 and 11. So this is really important on the pathway to higher education because it is about choice, and it's about making sure that children are advised, consulted, and that they receive guidance and support both from school and from home regarding the subjects that they feel they are good at, that they enjoy, and that perhaps are going to link to something that they're ambitious about, that they dream about, that they want to study at university. Now, as we all know, and we've said this time and time again throughout many of these webinars, the pathways change somewhat between year 10 and 13, or the ideas regarding the pathways change as students start to hone in on subjects that they really like, or maybe pick up subjects that they were not sure about and they really start to enjoy. And so things start to become a lot clearer for students as they go through year 10 and 11, when eventually they reach that very important decision-making point at A-levels to choose 3 or 4 subjects which they really want to concentrate a lot deeper on and again, which may link very well to the subjects that they study at university. So the reason why I wanted to recap about IGCSEs is because we really need to instill in our Year 9 students' minds that GCSEs are very important, of course, but they don't determine what universities they get into or can apply to. They're very broad and balanced, obviously covering the compulsory subjects, including English, maths, and at least one of the sciences, and Arabic and Islamic studies in years 10 and 11, as well as all of the other national agenda curriculum subjects that we have to engage in the country that we live in and study in. So with all of that in mind, we do try to provide as much support and, like I said, consultation through surveys to find out what students are interested in. And linking this nicely back to the curriculum session, if we can just go on to the next slide, please. We have appointed Miss Angela Walters-Harris, who is the head of vocational learning at GEMS Founder School. And she's working incredibly hard behind the scenes, putting together an amazing suite of new qualifications that our current Year 9s will be afforded to choose, hopefully, as they move into Year 10, which sit alongside IGCSEs. And these are different pathways that will suit many of our students, or certainly interest many of our students, which will equally help them gain access to universities or put them on that pathway to perhaps a particular trade or vocation that they wish to pursue. Now, whether that's leisure studies or travel and tourism or health and social care or engineering, we are doing a big audit and a big evidence gathering process to find out what our students want, what our parents are interested in, and what is available and practically possible to run at GEMS Founder School next year. But because obviously we have new amazing facilities in phase 3 of our building, we can look a lot deeper into this and widen and broaden and deepen our curricular offerings next year, which is very exciting. And I know Miss Angela will be sharing a lot of this information once we receive the BTEC centre status and approval, which will be in the very, very near future, and then be able to publish and publicise in the next few months the courses that we are going to be able to offer to our students in Year 9 as they move into 10 and 11 to follow level 2 qualifications. Next slide, please. Again, a reminder on the 3 exam boards, because a big question I get on a weekly basis, on a frequent basis, is about, when students receive qualifications at IGCSE and A levels with different examination boards, are they the same? Do they carry the same weight as one another in terms of university? The answer is absolutely yes. It's the qualification that is the most important, whether it's an IGC or an A level or an international A level or a BTEC. Regardless of the examination board, the qualification is essentially the same. So that is a frequent question that we get asked, and I just wanted to clarify that. Obviously, us working now with 3 different exam boards, that's very important for parents to rest assured that there are differences, obviously, within the curriculum and curricula that each of these examination boards offers and assesses against, but the actual qualification is the most important thing that students will leave with. The next slide, please. So again, recapping on the curriculum session, because we do have high expectations for A-level study and for gaining a place in Year 12 and pursuing AS and A levels. And universities most certainly will look at a student's A-level grades. And each university has different entrance requirements, of course, around the world. And it's very important that students start to familiarise themselves with these requirements for the universities that they aspire to go to. And that can be done through a system that we have at school called Unifrog, where students can log in to their account and can start searching the different universities, looking at entrance requirements, cost of living, tuition fees, scholarships, lots of different information, a real suite of information, and helping inform the next steps in their decision making, because obviously students will apply for more than one university typically to keep their options open around the world. But those grades that students need to work towards at GCSE level, or if they're coming from a different curriculum other than GCSEs and joining year 12, are high, because A levels are hard, they're difficult, and they are a rigorous qualification that really does set the scene very nicely for that first year in university. Many of our students actually, when they finish A levels and complete their first year of university, they can see how well they are prepared in terms of the content, the depth of knowledge they have from A levels, but also the skills that run aside them and parallel to them, which are obviously also very, very important when students transition to higher education. Next slide, please. This is very important. This is pretty much hot off the press. This is something that we received very recently. And as you can see, it talks very briefly about equivalency in this country and what grades and courses students need to consider taking if they want to continue studying in higher education in the country that we live in. And these are the new equivalency, or the equivalency requirements starting from the academic year 2022-2023 for British curriculum schools. And this is important because each curriculum has obviously slightly different equivalency requirements, but obviously we're a British curriculum school, and you can see that for us, for students that attend our school, they would need to have 5 IGCSE or GCSE level courses. We are currently working now solely on a 1 to 9 scale in terms of assessment. Obviously that we no longer work at the moment with Cambridge. So with Pearson, with AQA and Oxford AQA, their qualifications at GCSE level are on a 9 to 1 scale. And you can see the minimum grades as we currently speak for equivalency for GCSEs, min grade 3. And then in terms of the courses, mathematics, English language or literature, again, both compulsory subjects at GCSE level for all GEMS Founders School students, and a minimum requirement at Founders for 1 science subject. Obviously, students are permitted to study 1, 2 or 3 science subjects here. And again, that falls very much in line with the requirements for equivalency, as you can see on the screen. And then we look at the advanced level subjects, or GCSE advanced level subjects, where the minimum pass grade is a D, or the grade for equivalency, sorry, not the pass grade, the equivalency for, the grade for equivalency, excuse me, is a D. And again, this is something that students and parents must be aware of as they make choices. We certainly are able to offer all of these courses, and if your child is actually starting GCSEs in 2022-2023 in the next academic years, this is very, very important to consider. But it's also really important to check also the countries, the rules of the countries that your child may be interested in going to university, because each country will have different rules, different guidelines, different expectations. So it's very important that if you do have a question or you do require some advice, that you do seek an appointment with our career counsellor, but also equally important to contact universities to look at their websites, to research about the specific requirements for each country. So with that in mind, if we can just move on to the next slide, please. I just wanted to share with you just a very brief picture of where some of our students graduated, left our school and have gone on to. Now, this was obviously during the pandemic. Prior to this, we had students going off to King's College London, many Russell Group universities in the United Kingdom, but you can sort of see in terms of the flags, if you like, the sort of countries, the most popular countries that GEMS Founders School students have chosen to go to for higher education, certainly over the past couple of years. And we do track our alumni and follow up and check in with our alumni students around the world, and it's always nice to see them when they do return and visit GEMS Founders School to see how they're doing. But you can see that again in terms of geographical location. We do have many students going off to the United Kingdom, to the United States, to Canada, and then other countries all around the world. Now, like I said just before this, it's very important to do our research, do your research on what each country requires well in advance, and particularly during COVID as well, because things, as we all know, change on a frequent basis, even with regards to travel restrictions or requirements, and lots of other things that you have to be aware of when making that decision. Next slide, please. So to assist with all of this decision making, the school, as part of GEMS Education, does participate in lots of different opportunities. One particular one is My Path to Uni, and you can have a look at the GEMS Education website on the University and Career Pathways section. You can see on the screen the web link if you want to refer back to this at a later point. But My Path to Uni is a really an amazing website actually, and also service to really help students sort of turn their passion into academic and career success. Now, whether that is support with their university applications and writing essays, whether it's preparing for tests, whether that's the IELTS, TOEFL, SATs, ACT, AP exams, SSAT, Cambridge admissions tests, and there's so many other things to consider. The My Path to Uni website will guide you in the right direction there as well. It also has good links to different psychometric guidance, coaching and mentoring facilities and opportunities, different pathway programs, internships, work placements, and how students can enrich their experience throughout their secondary school life to really stand out when it comes to applying for a university. It also has a really good calendar of upcoming events, whether that is global education fairs, or whether it's different webinars or talks, or certain conferences that students can attend pretty much online at the moment. So I would really encourage you to have a look at that, and again, you can look at that starting in year 7, 8, 9, all the way up to year 13, and actually start to have conversations and doing your research about what is out there, and then how GEMS Founders and GEMS Education can support you and your child when making these choices. Next slide, please. We appointed a brilliant career counsellor, Miss Lakshmi Rajivan. You can see her contact detail on the screen right now. Obviously, when it comes to career counselling, it does vary depending on which year group your child is in. As they obviously grow older into year 12 and 13, we expect our students to be talking to Miss Lakshmi on a regular basis, and Miss Lakshmi will be guiding our students to different, again, webinars, seminars, talks, assemblies that can help them understand more and more as they approach that very critical time of applying to university and getting their documents in line and ready to be sent out. Miss Lakshmi is based in the school, in the sixth form study room, so the perfect location for our year 12 and 13 students to talk to her on a daily basis, or book an appointment with you as parents if you wish to see her, whether that's via Zoom or Teams, and have that conversation when and where possible. So Miss Lakshmi, please do familiarise yourself with her and reach out if you've got any further questions, specific questions, because she will have lots of contacts with universities all over the world. She's been in the field of supporting students in getting into higher education for many years now, in various different systems in the UK, in the US, and globally. So Miss Lakshmi is a highly qualified career counsellor who is able to support your child. Next slide, please. Sorry, that is the last slide, I apologise. The next things to consider, I guess, in terms of supporting your child, I think from my personal experience is to really try to somehow discuss, one, the subjects that they're most passionate about, two, exploring the different potential countries that you as a family or them as students are interested in studying in. And I'm absolutely aware that you know, we live in a very transient world where we move from place to place internationally as families, and I think it's really important that you sit down with your child to find out what they want, where they want to go, why they want to go there. Are they choosing a certain country or a certain university because they love the subject, or is it because their friends are going there, or is it because you have family there? There could be a multitude of reasons that you need to discuss along this very, very important journey. And to start thinking about dreaming big as well. Dreaming big in terms of really setting their sights on aspiring to go to the best universities around the world. And I think that dream, that passion is really important as well. And never to forget that students are capable of getting into the top universities if they really are determined and driven and work incredibly hard during their secondary school life. Anything is possible, again, which goes in line with the HPL philosophy that we have here at Founders. So hopefully that has been a useful webinar. One thing I would like our parents to do who are watching live currently is maybe just to potentially feedback, please, on the webinar series so far. I know that we've had a variety of topics, and I would be very interested in hearing what your thoughts are for future webinars. I certainly have got a list of topics that I want to discuss and to talk about in the new year. But as always, I'd be very happy to tailor these webinars around what you as parents would be very interested in finding out about. Now, whether that is going into a lot more depth with a certain area or topic, whether it's understanding curriculum even more, or assessment, or whatever it may be. And I think we can put on some very bespoke webinars for you as parents. I've already got one comment, or one question, sorry, in the live event question and answer box. And the question is about what is the difference between Oxford AQA International and AQA. So AQA is a huge, one of the biggest examination boards globally, been operating for many, many years now. And under that umbrella, internationally, Oxford AQA was set up to deliver qualifications, international level qualifications So in terms of what is the difference, they're all part of a big examination system, an examination board, and we work very, very closely with both examination boards. In fact, last week we had the new one of the new senior members of Oxford AQA, Mr. Mark Barber, who flew across to Dubai to meet us and to discuss his plans in his newly appointed role on how he wants to and what he aspires Oxford AQA to do over the next few years, and that is to grow as an exam board and to potentially offer a much wider suite of qualifications, international qualifications. How schools and what schools want from the examination board. So in terms of the difference, to answer the question, is that AQA as a huge examination board based in the UK does offer lots of qualifications, GCSE qualifications, A-level qualifications. Oxford AQA has less qualifications, more specific to international students, but together in terms of, and this is one of the reasons why we work with both, together they offer a very, very broad suite of qualifications that do meet the needs of our students. I really hope that answers that question. There's lots more to the answer, and again, I would be very happy to speak personally. I'm not sure who posed it, but if you want to drop me an email or call into the school, I would definitely be happy to talk in a lot more depth about even more differences, but hopefully that answers that question. Thank you very much for the parent who's posted some feedback about the webinar. Has been very helpful, and looking forward to more as they keep you updated and help choose the right path for our children. Thank you for that comment. That's very, very nice to hear. Whoever posted that one. And again, please put in the question and answer box different topics that you'd be interested in the new year. So at this stage, I wish you and your families a wonderful holiday season ahead and the winter break. Please encourage your children to take a break. They have had a very, very challenging term. I think I speak to students and teachers and educators in schools and parents around the world. It's been a very, very challenging term, and it's only right that students do take a break, a 3-week break, a well-deserved 3-week break with their loved ones, with you, their parents, and use it as a time to reflect, use it as a time to think and spend time with your loved ones. Like I said, we from GEMS Founders wish you a very safe holiday season, whether you're traveling or staying here in Dubai, in the UAE, and wherever you are, be safe, please. And we certainly look forward, I certainly look forward to seeing you in the new year and welcoming you to more of these webinars. I've got one more question, and I certainly don't want to leave without addressing this one. This is a question, or it's a comment about that year 13 is optional. And never apologize for asking these questions, because these are very important questions that you need to consider. The reason why you would have been told that by some parents that year 13 is optional, it's certainly, students certainly can leave at the end of year 12 should they wish, and some of our students have left at the end of year 12 to go on to what are called foundation degree courses, where students go into university and perhaps will spend an extra year at the university as opposed to completing year 13 in school. And again, that depends on the university, it depends on the country, it depends on lots of different things in terms of grades and everything, but it is possible. Obviously, as a school, I would recommend that students complete 13 years of education. That's my personal advice and opinion, and it is the opinion of the school as well, because I think having that full A-level qualification can open up many different pathways and doors into universities around the world. I'm not saying it's the only pathway. It's certainly the one that I think most of our students choose to take. Like I said, this is about doing the research on country to country, because every country is different, and some countries will accept students who leave at the end of year 12 and some won't. So it's all about the next steps. But frankly speaking, I think the full A level is such a strong qualification. It's certainly, when you compare it to the IBDP, is on a level playing field in terms of university applications. So, you know, getting that year 13, the full A level, instead of just leaving with what would be regarded as half an A level at the end of year 12 or just AS level qualifications, I think the full qualification is much more beneficial. I hope that answers that question. And again, please reach out should you want to know any more about that. I'd be very happy to speak to you. Okay, well, everybody, thank you once again for joining. I look forward to seeing you all in the new year. Stay safe and take care. Thank you, everybody.